Hey everybody, I'm Matt Jaffoon, co-founder of Occupier, and we are going to dive into what is lease abstraction. Lease abstraction is the process of summarizing critical information out of a lengthy lease document. The objective of a lease abstract is to present the most important critical information of a lease document in a concise and organized manner so that people can access the information they need to make quick decisions. And for commercial tenants with large lease portfolios, abstracting your leases is a critical first step in unlocking your portfolio's real estate data. There are 6 key pillars to a good lease abstract document. They are general lease information, custom data, lease amendments, financial information, critical dates, and clauses. So let's review a lease abstract together. I have Occupier's lease abstract template here. You can access this PDF document in the link below. Let's dive into it. The first component of your lease abstract document is your general information. This is all high-level information about the location, about the tenant, the landlord, the commencement date, the expiration date, generally the most kind of basic things about your lease portfolio or this lease in itself that help you understand certain information that needs to be at your fingertips at any given time. So you can see here we have our tenant, our landlord, our rent commencement, our lease expiration date, our square footage, what floors we're on, etc. Very basic information that usually lives in multiple areas within the lease document. The second piece of information to track in a lease abstract is any custom data. As we all know, every lease is unique, every portfolio is unique, every tenant's use of spaces is unique, so make sure your lease management software can handle any custom data that you want to track within your portfolio, and then also make sure that that data makes its way into the lease abstract document. So you can see here we have some custom data such as cost center or number of parking spaces or who holds the security deposit. These are all very important things that are very specific to this one lease. Your third component of your lease document should be the amendment history. Hopefully you're able to stay in your space, you might be expanding, you might be downsizing, renewing your lease. So for the duration of your occupancy, there might be multiple amendments that govern the relationship that you have with your landlord during that period of occupancy. All of those amendments should be tracked and also make their way into the lease document. So you can see here that we've restructured our rent and our amendment 1 about 3 years ago. That needs to be recorded in the lease abstract so you know all the history of that lease. The fourth pillar of your lease abstract should be your critical dates. This is obviously one of the most important things you need to track because if you're not staying on top of those critical dates, you're going to miss opportunities and you're going to put your business in risk. The worst thing that you want to do is miss a date and then have to deal with that consequence of financial or legal trouble with your landlord. So you can see here, this critical date report essentially shows every event type, my notice period, when that critical date becomes effective, and a general description which is an abstract of the language in that lease document. These can also be automated in your lease management software, but they're supposed to make their way into the document as well. Your fifth pillar of your commercial real estate lease abstract is your rent. This is obviously one of the most important parts of your lease. You've steadfastly negotiated the best rental rate you could for your space. Maybe you've signed a really long-term lease, but you need to track those changes over time. The financial components of your rent schedule aren't simply just your base rent. In many cases, you're tracking common area maintenance, operating expenses, insurance, taxes, anything that has to do with money going out the door needs to be finding its way into your lease abstract. So you can see here below, you have your date, you have your base rent schedule, and then you also have your additional rent, totaling up to your total rent, which is essentially your obligation for occupancy during the period of your lease. You can see here this is a rather lengthy rent schedule. We can break this down in an annual way. You can break it down in a monthly way. Just make sure that your financials always make their way into the lease abstract template. And finally, the sixth pillar of the lease abstract is your clauses. We all know that lawyers mark up these documents until they're about 100 pages long. Each clause could have 10 pages that govern the relationship with the landlord and the tenant. Nobody wants to read through a 3-page insurance indemnity clause in their lease every time they need a quick answer on something. So what you can do with your lease abstract is condense those legal clauses down into simple snippets and make sure that they're accessible in the lease abstract for reference. So you can see here below, for example, we have our holdover clause in section 10.1 of this lease, and we have a 2-sentence description of what that holdover clause means for the tenant. By abstracting your clauses into your lease, you have a condensed version of all the legal liabilities that you have in your lease. So those are the 6 pillars of a commercial real estate lease abstract. Document organization, data extraction, abstract creation, and review are all crucial to building the foundation of an effective lease management strategy. Download our template today and get started with lease abstraction.